Some 3,000 years ago, a man raised over $400 million of today's money. I call him the king of fundraising. How did he raise that money? What did he do that helped him raise that money at that time when resources were scarce? And what can we learn from him that can help us raise the money we need to help us accomplish our vision, our mission for our organization? Before we go into the lessons of this story, let me first tell you about the story. The king of fundraising is King David himself. Yes, you must have heard of him before. He ruled Israel at a time where the tribes didn't have that unity that was needed to help them accomplish projects or programs. And he was, one of the less favorite among the people at the time who were to be king. And, he had a lot of battle and finally made it to become king. And he had one plan in mind: to help the children of Israel build a temple. Before now, they used the tent, the Moses tent, as their place of worship. And it wasn't comfortable and it wasn't the best to, worship their God at the time. Considering at the time, the Amalekites, the Philistines, they all had, this very big temple that served that purpose. So these children of Israel needed a temple, and David wanted to build one that was going to last, forever, for as long as the world remained. David had a very daring brain, but he was able to accomplish it. And today you can find the temple David built still in Israel today, standing strong in the city of Jerusalem. So how did they build the temple? Well, there was going to be, to build the temple, they needed so much resources. And at the time, to put together such resources was not a small feat. So what did David do? The very first thing he did was to get all the princes in the different tribes, right? Get different princes from the different tribe and appointed them into the executive government at the time. He appointed them to work with him, around his cabinet. That was a very strategic move. I'll tell you why. The next he did was to create a meticulous plan, like what we call the business plan today, where you get to list in details what's needed to help you accomplish your vision, from the lamp holders to the people who are going to work within the temple. All that he took time to make sure he listed them all out, including how they were going to be operating. And also he organized a fundraising dinner. Basically, the dinner was to bring in everybody from the different houses, from the different tribes of Israel, head of houses, officers, military officers, military heads, basically the stakeholders are across the tribe of Israel at the time. So he brought them all in for a dinner where he really fed them. They had a good time. And that was when he gave the famous, fundraising speech. I had that speech in my book, and I actually had to bring out the formula to help fundraisers, write a fundraising speech that's engaged and captivating. And at the end of that dinner, of course, during the speech, he let them know that he had also given of his own resources, which is he gave out a lot of his own resources, and during the speech, before he called them to give, to the purpose, which is to give to building the temple. And in that night, he raised over $400 million. So there are very key lessons that we can learn from what David did. First, his goal was to meet a felt need. And this is something you must take to heart. You must meet a felt need if you want to be successful. Not a need that you think is felt, but a need that the community says this is our need. If you go about just executing a perceived need, you're not going to get the support that you need. But if you go about executing a felt need, which is the need that the community is actually feeling, that the community is saying we want, you are most likely going to get their support. So make sure whatever you're raising money for is a felt need, is a need the community has identified that this is a need that we want to bring a solution to. The second step that he did was, appointing the different princes from the different tribes of Israel into his cabinet and, executive positions. I'll call this the DEI, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know the Trump administration presently frowns against DEI, but DEI still works. If you want the community to support you, they have to be properly represented within your organization, within your board, right? So, for example, an organization that's working towards helping blind people, imagine not having a blind person on your board. How's that going to work out, right? So there has to be proper representation, and DEI is beyond just races and religion, as most people like us to see it. It's really about making sure there is an adequate representation within your organization. This is important in first getting your message to the grassroots, because these people who are adequately represented will get your message to the grassroots. And secondly, right, aside getting your message to the grassroots, because they are a part of what you're building, they feel they have an equal representation, so they are more likely to support you. The community is more likely to support you. So that's very important. The third step he took was creating a meticulous plan, detailing every part of the project. I've seen founders trying to raise money, they don't even have a plan. They don't have a business plan, they don't have a fundraising plan. The ideas is all in their head, right? That's not really going to work for you. If you want to raise money, if you want all the support you need, it means you're going to have to, right, create a detailed plan, detailing every aspect of your execution, what it's going to cost you, how you go about it, the people you need. You need to make sure it is well detailed in. And then, of course, the fourth step of the process is he engaged, various stakeholders from across the tribe of Israel. So just going about your programs all by yourself is not going to help you. You want to be making sure you are engaging stakeholders across your community, stakeholders across your impact, stakeholders across your industry. So, for example, gatekeepers within the community, the mayor, the councillor, whoever has authoritative position, you want to make sure you're engaging them as well. Stakeholders across your impact, the professors, people who are, providing discoveries, people who are actually, making impact in your space. You want to make sure you're also engaging them. This is important because the more of these people you engage, the more trust you build. So, for example, if you have somebody as like the mayor within your network, and it's clearly shown that this person is affiliated with the organization, it's going to give people more credibility to give to you. So it's very important to engage stakeholders just like King David did. And then, of course, before David asked people to give, he first of all gave of his own resources. This is you validating your idea. This is you letting them know that you can put your money where your mouth is. Unlike situations where we have founders who are trying to raise money without putting their money in, or board members who are trying to support the organization without first of all putting their money into the organization, King David did it right. You have to give of your own resources first. You have to prove that your idea is worth investing in by you first putting in your own money before you ask others to give to your organization. This is very important if you want to be successful. And aside you giving to your organization, you also want to be able to, say it out. Let the people who you are asking know that you've been able to give to your organization. It shows a lot of credibility and it gives them the confidence to give to you. So this is the story of King David, who raised over $400 million in today's money in one night, and how he did it. You can replicate these steps and begin to create results for your organization. First of all, make sure you're reaching out to a felt need, a need the community sees that it's a need and it's felt. Two, you make sure you're practicing DEI, the organization, the community you represent is the community you serve is well represented within your organization. And then, of course, make sure you have a detailed plan, spelling out every aspect of your project, every aspect of the work you do. And then make sure you are engaging stakeholders. And lastly, you're spending of your own resources. So this is how you do it. Of course, if you're looking to raise money, if you're looking to scale your organization, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you. Schedule a free call with us. We'll discuss with you on the strategies to help you best raise money for your organization, help you create the tools you need, and guide you to go raise money. Until I see you again, it's peace and love.